The Ted Bundy Case Study in Criminal Psychology. Introduction. During his formative years, Ted Bundy was raised as the sole child in a household primarily composed of adults in Vermont. However, his life underwent a transformation when his mother entered into matrimony, subsequently leading to the arrival of 4 additional siblings reasonably swiftly. Bundy's academic performance during his years in grade school and high school was relatively unexceptional, with an average grade point of B. McClellan supports this by mentioning, Ted's academic passage through grade school and high school was essentially unremarkable as a B-average student. Individuals acquainted with Bundy during his secondary education characterized him as an attractive, intelligent, exceedingly introverted, and emotionally responsive male. During his childhood, Bundy did not exhibit any notable behavioral issues, however, he displayed physical timidity and sexual insecurity. Ted's marriage and school life. A sequence of inconsistencies characterized the adult life of Ted Bundy. He exhibited physical attractiveness and charisma. Bundy refrained from participating in noteworthy social interactions until his confinement on death row in Florida. Therefore, Bundy was a loner who remained unmarried and did not have any offspring. McClellan affirms that Ted remained a loner throughout his life. In 1964, Ted completed his secondary education and subsequently enrolled at the University of Puget Sound, UPS, with a modest academic scholarship. Ted transferred to the University of Washington following an unsuccessful initial year at UPS. Over the subsequent 6 years, he underwent a series of academic transitions before ultimately graduating in 1974. Mental disorder diagnosis and his crime nature. Indeed, it is true that Ted Bundy was diagnosed with a mental disorder. Smithson confirms this by noting, in Bundy's case, his classification as psychopathic and manic-depressive. This suggests that he was diagnosed with both manic-depressive and psychopathy disorders. Samuel and Whittaker also noted that according to 80% of the clinicians, Ted was characterized as a prototypical antisocial personality disorder case, though he was never treated since he insisted on being all right. The criminal activities of Ted Bundy were predominantly characterized by acts of sexual assault, homicide, and necrophilia. Stieg asserts that Ted is believed to have committed the heinous acts of sexual assault and homicide against a minimum of 36 female victims during a 4-year period in the 1970s. The perpetrators specifically focused on female individuals of a youthful age demographic, frequently employing deceptive tactics to establish a sense of confidence with his victims before committing their abduction and ensuing homicide. Bundy's crime organization and their behavior. Bundy could be classified as an organized criminal due to his tactics of hiding the truth. McClellan outlines that Bundy took such pains to hide. The quote implies that Ted Bundy never left the corpses of his victims exposed in Utah, Colorado, and Washington. He was keen enough to hide them, thereby impeding the efforts of law enforcement to locate them. Consequently, reports of missing individuals were filed, and law enforcement officials were not cognizant of the homicide occurrences until after a long time. This demonstrates that Bundy had an organized approach toward his criminal activities. When caught, Ted was taken for a mental health checkup. During the examination, he insisted that he was not insane, crazy, or incompetent. He even outlined that his attorney insulted him by saying that he could not stand trial because he was mentally incompetent. Bundy's capacity to stand trial and death. Indeed, Bundy was found capable of withstanding trial even though his attorney Polly Nelson tried to delay his death penalty by stating that he was mentally unstable. Dorothy Lewis was enlisted to examine Ted's brain. Salzer clarified that mental illness at the time of their crime should not be eligible for the death penalty, meaning that the law exempts individuals with mental instability from death penalty subjection. But Lavender continues to mention that, on January 24, 1989, after Bundy's arrest, trial, and conviction, he was put to death via electric chair at Florida State Prison. This denotes that Bundy was mentally competent to withstand trial, otherwise, he would not have been given the death penalty. In addition to murder and abduction, Ted Bundy was equally accused of rape, and he received the death penalty and was to be electrocuted. Psychological, sociological, biological, and conflict theories. Ted Bundy is one of the most notorious serial killers in American history. The above 4 theories can be used to explain why he committed such heinous acts. The psychological theory suggests that his upbringing and past experiences may have influenced his behaviors. Dunkelberger expounds that Bundy's grandfather may have physically and emotionally abused him. Similarly, the sociological theory proposes that societal pressures and norms may have pushed him toward his actions. Ted made a new acquaintance, who he claims was the one who taught him about burglary, theft, alcohol, and shoplifting. Through drugs and wrong ideas, this bad group of friends possibly compelled Bundy into crime. The biological theory points towards a chemical imbalance or abnormality in the brain as the reason for his deeds. Samuel and Whittaker's confirmation that Ted's diagnosis of antisocial personality disorder was determined through a consensus rating of 4.7, with 96% of the sample agreeing on this diagnosis, could align with biological theory. Conclusion. Finally, the conflict theory suggests that social inequality led Bundy to a life of crime. His illegitimacy caused tension between him and his mother, and he equally faced bullying in school. While these theories may never fully explain the motivations behind Bundy's crimes, they offer valuable insights into the nature of criminal behavior.